technology, honest to goodness, there are days, like with all things, that you go, well, this is great, this is fun. And then there are days when you go, I hate all of you. I hate every bit of technology that doesn't want to function.
And I hope that none of you, in attempting to see us today, get a message saying, log in.
Please.
Log in again.
Don't even, if you say it out loud, it'll hear you. And that'll be a whole thing. And no. Hello.
7-factor authentication.
No more authentications.
And no more factors.
Nobody needs that in their lives right now. Oh gosh.
Anyway, I got to choose the opening night film.
Yes,
for
which
the
was a
film
lot of
festival.
fun for you.
And I chose They Live by Night. Wonderful film, directed by, in his debut, Nicholas Ray, and starring Farley Granger and Kathy and Downs and Howard De Silva.
There you go.
Well, it's so good. Seeing it again, and especially on a big screen with a simpatico audience, it was actually exciting to watch.
Well, we talk about a lot how lucky we are to live in a place that has so many revival theaters, that allows us to watch movies like that on a big screen.
Yeah.
It's a spoiler, but it's also wonderful because it does mean for folks who live in the Southern California area, really in California, because there's a number of theaters that have this. It gives us something that really can spoil you.
Look up They Live by Night, because I think I just said the leading lady's name wrong, because my brain is a little...
They live, not they live, they live by night. They Live by Night. You know, the one from 2016. No, you're looking for the 1948?
Kathy O'Donnell.
There you go.
I knew I said it wrong.
There
Kathy
you go.
O'Donnell.
But you fixed it.
Who wound up marrying William Wyler's brother, Robert. Having been featured in William Wyler's The Best Years of Our Lives. That was her first film showcase.
There you go. One of the questions that a couple of you have asked me a few times now, and I don't, because obviously I sometimes I feel, again with the Jew thing, sometimes I feel like a terribly old Jewish lady if I go too deep into medical stuff, because nobody wants to sit and think about that. That's no fun. But a number of you ask me, because I talk about flaring up, what that means. And the shortest answer is it's exactly what it sounds like. You flare. So if you have, let's say, so in my case, so all autoimmune diseases essentially is your body attacking you. It's when your body attacks itself, hence autoimmune. And what a flare-up for a lot of those kinds of folks is, and me included, and I'm having one today, is I'll start to get spots. I have some on my face right now. My lupus rashes. I have lupus. I have something called mixed connective tissue disease, a whole bunch of different fun names I can throw at you. And basically, it just means that on a certain day, it's worse. At a certain hour, it's worse. It could be better in a few hours. It could be better in 5 minutes. It could also be much, much, much worse. You never know. So you kind of play a game of, all right, how am I going to get through today, or what am I going to need to do, whatever it is. But yeah, that is a flare-up, is literally it flares up. Much of the time, you guys, because I put on makeup and stuff, can't necessarily see it. But most of the time I do not wear makeup and I just look like a tomato. So.
But last Sunday, while we were curating.
And it's like this Jeffrey just joined us, my friend who asked me to do this. Go on.
While we were luxuriating in Palm Springs and watching film noir.
Yes. I did the thing on Saturday.
Last Saturday, while we were in Palm Springs, blah, 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 blah. You were not idle.
I was not. I will tell you, learning to do the working mama thing, as if I didn't already respect parents enough, now that I am one and I have a small human, Lordy, it's a lot. It's hard to juggle. So a wonderful friend of mine asked me if I would host a little Q&A with Norman Reedus at the Barnes & Noble at the Grove. The Grove is here in LA. It's a fun place. If you're from Europe or the UK, it's essentially a manufactured high street. That's really what it is. It's a manufactured high street.
Much inspired by Disneyland.
Yeah.
By Main Street.
Yeah.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
That kind of idea.
And Disneyland is the same kind of really manufactured high street.
And environment.
Yeah, it's nice. And so I got to go and do that. And I got to interview Norman Reedus. He has a new book that just came out called The Ravaged. He's lovely and a lot of fun. And a whole bunch of people turned up to see it.
And he has this considerable fan base.
Well, yeah, because of The Walking Dead and things of that sort. He has a massive fan base. So I got to interview him and say he could not have been nicer. He's very funny, very sweet, a weirdo in the best possible way, like our kind of weirdo, you know. But yeah, we had a blast. It was so much fun. But I had Daisy. My parents were gone. My husband's working, so had to figure out what I was going to do with my child. Now, Daisy, we're very lucky, is generally a very good baby. We hit the baby jackpot in that way.
His cheerful disposition.
She's generally pretty happy camper and can be comfortable pretty much anywhere. And she loves people. So she's not freaked out if new people hold her. She doesn't mind. And we really made an effort with that to make sure that lots of people gave her attention and that she was never nervous. Yeah. So all of our friends have held her. Everybody plays with her and she's happy. Well, my friend Gray Drake, who you may or may not be familiar with, she and my dad had a show together. She's amazing. She came with me and watched me so I could do this. So she was my lifesaver. But yeah, Daisy came with me. So Daisy has officially attended her first Q&A. At almost 7 months old, her first Q&A. Anyway, so that's what I got to do last week, which was a lot of fun. Let me just go through 1 second. I want to make sure I get your questions. First of all, yes, hello in New Zealand, you lucky, lucky duck. What a beautiful place to be. Hello in Torquay. I was there a few years ago with my husband when he was on tour. Was it Blood Brothers that he was at that point? I think it was still Blood Brothers then. Turkey is a really, really nice place to be. Alex says, I have 2 questions to ask. 1, how is the baby doing? She's great. She's teething. She's got 2 little teethies that have just popped through on the bottom.
Boy, are they sharp.
They are real. She's a baby piranha. We call her the baby piranha. She's great. She's funny and silly and a joy to be around, but also a baby. So she struggles with sleeping. I can actually hear, you can't, but I can hear her yelling downstairs because she doesn't want a nap. So she's a baby, but she's amazing. We love her. And the number 2 question is, which summer movie are you 2 looking forward to seeing? Thor, Lightyear, Nope, or Jurassic World?
Of those,
just in general, I think he just means, are you?
Oh, well,
looking forward to seeing.
Well, those all interest me somewhat equally.
Yeah,
they're all big, much anticipated movies because we're fans of Taika Waititi. Thor has a little bit of an edge.
Yeah,
we like him. We like his sense of humor, and we'll see what he brings to this one. I can tell you that Alice and I saw Top Gun Maverick the other day in IMAX. And loved it.
They loved it.
We loved it. And I didn't love the first movie. I thought the first movie was okay for what it was 30-something years ago. Hi.
Do you want to say hi? Give me for a second. Let me say, I think the grumpy one is going to say hello for a second. Not my husband, the baby. Come here, honey bunny. Okay. Here's Miss Daisy.
Hey, sweetie. See that smile?
Immediately looks at her favorite person in the world, which is my dad. She loves my dad. So here's Miss Daisy.
You're getting to share the grandpa smile.
That's right.
I'll come and grab her in a second.
Sure, honey. She is about to be 7 months. She
yes, honey. Yes, my darling.
Generally a pretty happy camper.
That smile just kills me. It kills me.
It just doesn't get better than that. Do you see yourself, my sweetheart? Do you see yourself? That's you. I know there's 3 of you. There's one there. There's one there. There's one there. There's so many daisies. Yes.
Yes, honey.
If this is the first time you're joining us, if you're new to this, I'm a new mom. This is my first baby here. Her name is Daisy, and say she's almost 7 months. My dad is a new grandpa and the best grandpa.
Proud new grandpa.
And she absolutely adores both of my parents, but she really loves to give my dad big smiles. She loves her grandpa very, very much.
Yes, honey.
Yeah.
Yes, honey.
What do you say?
We're sort of cheating to the
What do you
camera, as
say?
they say.
Hi. Okay. She's a smiley girl, and I'm happy you get to see her in this state. As they say, generally, she really is pretty damn happy most of the time.
Yeah.
But like the rest of us, gets cranky. And you would be cranky if you had little things stabbing you in the mouth. Ah. All right, my love. Thank you, honey. Thank you, honey. So there's a little bit of Daisy for you. She's getting very big.
Oh my.
We love her. So yeah, summer movie wise,
no,
you
so
really love
Top
Gun, which is great.
You know, I can't imagine a movie beating it or topping it, to use
It's all right.
phrase, for sheer entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's not stupid. It doesn't fall back on hopeless cliches. You know, I'm not saying it's blazingly original in its storytelling, but it does what it does really well.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise is, as the New York Times said yesterday, perhaps the last true movie star.
He really, regardless of how you feel about him for any of the things, right? Do you think you can name a bigger star? And I mean that genuinely. Do you think that you could name a bigger star?
He's got it. He's just got it. And he's cast age appropriately.
Yeah.
They wrote the screenplay very cleverly, and to showcase him, but not unrealistically.
Yeah.
And his love interest, Jennifer Connelly, is also
age appropriate. Yeah.
And it's very good. And Val Kilmer appears. If you're wondering if you need to know the original movie to figure this, no, it's easy. If you are a fan or a devotee of the original Top Gun, there are echoes. There, you know.
So for basically, I have not had any friends see it and not like it. That's the best thing I can say. I haven't seen it because, again, I haven't been able to go to the theater. But yeah. So in terms of the summer movies, I'll tell you the thing my husband and I are most looking forward to is the Bob's Burgers movie that opens on the 27th of May. We're very excited about that. But I don't know that he and I are really thinking so much about movies. We're more so excited about the new season of The Boys, a new season of Dairy Girls, a lot of shows like that.
Mm-hmm.
Movie wise, you know, it's fun, and we'll see sort of what looks good as it comes through. The truth is, we don't really look that far ahead.
No,
because we're sort of paying attention to what we have.
We take what we have to deal with right now.
Yeah.
What we have to sift through.
Yeah. This person named Mauricio says, "Are you excited for the new James Gray film Armageddon Time?" That has just been screening at Cannes, and a number of our friends who are there are loving it.
Which is great, because I think James Gray is a hugely talented filmmaker, writer, and director.
If you're a fan of James Gray, we did have him on our show, and he's really articulate. Interesting.
He's a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
And a real movie lover, very knowledgeable movie lover.
Yeah.
And so I'm always rooting for him. And I think his last film didn't get the accolades Ad Astra that it deserved.
I didn't love it as much as you did, but I liked it. And my husband, who is a space nerd and science, I've gotten more into sci-fi and that kind of stuff because it's what my husband loves. I've always liked it, but obviously now if something's on, I get excited because we can watch it together and enjoy it. But yeah, he loved Ad Astra. And it is very good. It's a very good movie. I don't know where this rumor is coming from. Shannon says, "I read you were a friend of on this season of Beverly Hills Housewives, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Were you there for the aspirin confrontation? Did you get along with Sutton and Garcelle?" I wish I knew, truly, where the rumor is, because somebody else has asked me on here about this. I am definitely not on any season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I love that it's a rumor. A bunch of people on the show I grew up with, so then maybe that's as close as it gets. I went to school with a lot of their kids, but that that's really the extent of that. You should be on Real Housewives, Daddy. You should see how that goes for you.
Yeah, why not?
Ken says, finally found a Lone Ranger statue like the one behind you during the live streams. Only 1,500 made, and mine is 331. What number is yours?
I may have an artist proof. Be careful. Is
he stuck down?
It's semi-glued.
All right,
down.
good. See if I can get him off. There we go. This is 24 of 50. It's artist proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little different.
And that artist is my old friend Ruben Procopio.
So
very talented animator and sculptor. And
he's made incredible
yeah.
stuff for you.
Oh yeah. Well,
he also fixes stuff for you.
We had a great segment on one of the Walt Disney Treasures DVDs. There were so many Donald Duck cartoons that we had to keep coming up with new ideas for bonus features for the Donald Duck volumes. And one of them was, I called Ruben and said, would you be willing to sculpt a Donald Duck while the camera is on you, and then we'll speed it up? And he thought it was fun. So freehand, he started with clay. And of course, we ran this almost like a time lapse of video, and watched him create the shape exactly of Donald Duck. It still blows my mind.
Yeah,
that is doable. That somebody can do that. But for a company called Electric Tiki, he did the Lone Ranger, and he did a number of other superheroes.
Yeah,
talented guy. He also
Ryan says he remembers that bonus feature. It was on the Chronological Donald Volume 3.
Thank you, Ryan.
Very good.
He also is a Zorro fanatic and has done a Zorro statue. And,
you have that one,
yeah.
Don't you? Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah, we're a Zorro loving household.
He did. He worked at Walt Disney Animation for many years and did maquettes for the animators to study.
All his stuff, though.
So that if you're tasked with drawing the Beast, let's say in Beauty and the Beast, and you want to know how he looks when he's turned in a 3/4 pose over his shoulder.
It's a model. It's very literally, it's a model. And it allows you to have something to go, okay, what would this angle be? Well, here, I can turn this and do that. And it makes a huge difference. Chris says, hi, Leonard. I'm putting the finishing touches on my book. I wanted to say thank you. Your movie guide series has inspired me since I was a kid. And now my dream of being an author is coming true. Well, bravo you. What's your book called? And what's it about? That's very exciting. Being an author is not easy. And getting books published is not easy. And getting books onto bookshelves is not easy. When I was at Barnes & Noble, that's something that I said. The publishers were there of Norman Reedus's book. They're called Blackstone Publishing. And I said to everybody in the audience, because everybody there had purchased a book, I said, thank you for coming to a bookstore, buying a book in a bookstore, and hopefully encouraging other people to do the same. Yeah. Because there's just nothing, unfortunately, a lot of people don't go into stores, which I understand. I get that there's the easiness of just having it there, but I don't want them to all go away. I want us to still have bookstores. No. 1 second. Makes me. Bob's Burgers makes you aggressive, really? Oh, I like Bob's Burgers. I think that's a pretty gentle one. David says, what is y'all's least favorite 1960s Disney live action feature?
Oh, let's not go negative. Do we have to go negative?
Do you have an answer, or are you just going to politely? I have no answer, honestly.
I have no fondness, particularly for the Ugly Dachshund. I mean, we could name other names, but
what's yours, David? What do you like best? 1 second. Has Mrs. Maltin, Mr. Maltin, sorry, you're Mr. I was thinking my mom for a second. Has Mr. Maltin ever attended Cannes? No. This
some people find this surprising, but there's a very pragmatic reason and answer for it, which is one doesn't go to Cannes unless one is sent to Cannes, essentially.
It is insanely expensive. A lot of film festivals can get quite expensive. But once you're traveling overseas, once you try in whatever direction, wherever you live, overseas to a different country, that's an expense. Hotels.
Also, you want to go on assignment. You want to can with a purpose.
Yeah.
And all the years I worked at Entertainment Tonight, they had no interest in Cannes as a film festival.
Yeah.
Their interest was limited to what stars were showing up on the red carpet.
And what they were wearing.
And that's the kind of assignment I did not get.
Mm-hmm.
So some years they didn't cover it at all. Some years they bought some news footage just to show some of the glitz. So over that span of time, over 30 years with ET, I never had the assignment, never had the gig to go over there.
And as I say, I mean, to give you a sense, someone who is in our lives and has gone to Cannes for many, many years now, he's sent on assignment. I won't say his name, but he's sent on assignment. And he has told us more than once, I know I can see, he has told us more than once that it comes to a total of about $11,000 for him to go. Now that is covered by the publication that he's with, but at the end of the day, that is what it costs. Sorry, we just lost Twitter, so I'm just going to get it back. 1 second. Except it's taken the
Come back, Twitter.
Come back, Twitter. Let me see. This is how we do Twitter. This is how Twitter exists for us. Give me 1 second.
This is our low-tech version of high-tech.
Yeah, man. Well, but see,
so last night, Alice and I watched part 1 of the George Carlin documentary,
which I know a lot of people are really looking for. Your whole group is going nuts.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good, and I can't wait for part 2 tonight. And can't wait for part 2 of George Carlin tonight.
Yeah.
It's been directed and written by Judd Apatow and Mike Bonfiglio, and
done with a lot of TLC.
Yes, and a lot of hard work too to dig out rare material, rare footage. And apparently, he was a pack rat. He kept everything. He kept notes, scribbles, ideas, love letters, all sorts of things. And his daughter Kelly gave them access to all of that. It's quite something. And I am of an age that I remember when he first came on the scene as the straight-laced or straight square version of George Carlin. And his first great success was with the Hippy Dippy Weatherman on Wonderful Wino radio. And then he had an awakening and a reawakening and reinvention. And a lot of painful experiences and lessons along the way. If you're at all interested in him or interested in the lives of people who entertain us by holding a mirror up to society, it's really worth seeing. And of course, he loved words. He loved words, and the meanings of words and the context of words. And so that's another reason I had an affinity and still have an affinity for him. Understandably
so. I mean, that's, the neat thing about documentaries, especially good ones, of course, is that you can learn about somebody. So if you don't know anything about him, this is a great way to begin.
Yeah.
And that's always nice. Robin says, you like old school animation. Did you enjoy Duckman, Beavis and Butthead, The Tick, Rick and Morty, and the like? You don't really watch much TV.
I confess I've not kept up with a lot of contemporary television, or even streaming animation.
Yeah.
There are only so many hours in a day, and I try to spread myself as thinly as possible. I try to sort of touch base with what's happening, so I'm staying current.
Yeah.
But
I watch a lot of it. Some of it I love, some of it I don't. Again, my husband is a huge fan of sort of all that stuff, so he got me into Archer and BoJack Horseman and shows like that. Generally, the way it works, as it does with any TV show, really, is if one of us watches something and we think my dad would really like it. There's actually recently a Simpsons episode about jazz, that I want you to see.
Okay.
But that's sort of how that'll happen. Is I'll say, oh,
Mhm.
you really need to see this episode of whatever it is.
Oh, by the way, I'm very high on a new film called Emergency,
Mm-hmm.
which is in theaters now this week, but next Friday, the 27th of May, will appear on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
They've booked it in theaters. They want to give it a theatrical run, which I say good for them. It's a really good movie, but the more I tell you, the less surprising you will find it, and therefore, the less you know, the more you will enjoy it.
The review you wrote is really good because it's basically you saying that, which is I don't want to tell you anything about the movie, but you should see it because it's really, really good.
I got to show it to my class at USC a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Coming off of its great success at Sundance, where it won the Waldo Salt Screenwriting Prize and was in contention for the Grand Jury Prize. And we had the screenwriter, Katie Davila,
Mm-hmm.
on Zoom as our guest that night. And she was very interesting. She told the whole story of how it came about. It was a short subject first that was so well received that they got she and the director got the backing to turn it into a feature-length film. And about 15 minutes into the movie, I turned to Alex Ago, the great guy who books my class, books the films and the guests, conferring always with me. And I don't remember if I said or if I thought I said to him, why are we watching this? Because it still hadn't really revealed itself.
It takes a minute to get going, and it can feel initially like, why am I watching a college film? Because it takes place with a bunch of students at a college. So initially you can sort of go, well, I don't know if this is for me, but it is. It's absolutely worth it. Robin's saying that he thinks bigger stars than Tom Cruise are Tom Hanks and Kevin Costner. Well, here's the thing. I would tell you now, a lot of people don't know who Kevin Costner is anymore, which is...
Well, not... It depends on who you're talking about.
But that's it. Tom Cruise is recognizable to people from almost all ages. And I know this only because I have lived away and in lots of different places. You never know anymore who someone's going to recognize or remember. And the list of who has an effect, whether this person is 10 years old or 90 years old, it's a very short list.
Well, it would include certainly Tom Hanks.
Yes, but again, a lot of young people don't know who he is.
They're lost.
No,
I get that.
Yeah.
No, but Kevin Costner, on the other hand,
yeah,
Oscar winner Kevin Costner, is the star of the single most popular show on streaming or on any kind of television.
Yes.
You know, Yellowstone is an enormously successful show,
huge hit.
And it is also the flagship of a flowering of modern day Western storytelling.
Yeah.
That extends to 9 series.
Yeah.
Or by the time this year is out,
it's nuts.
It will have spread over 9 series.
Nuts. As I said, I mean, I don't say this as it. Look, to me, Tom Hanks, I think we can all agree Tom Hanks is one of the greatest living actors that we've got. I don't think that's a difficult thing, to get people to agree with. It's Tom Hanks. There's a reason why he's worked as long as he has, and he is beloved the way he is beloved. But it is always interesting to me how someone can shift and how with pop culture, someone who can feel like the biggest star, and I've talked about this before, but I always think about a lot of the SNL folks. So when I was growing up, the people on SNL were some of the most famous humans in the world. Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, Dan Aykroyd. There's a short list of people who, you knew who they were. Everybody knew who Chris Farley was. Everybody knew who David Spade was. They were so, Adam Sandler, they were so gigantic. But there was also fewer options. You didn't have 87 streaming channels. You didn't have 1,000 places to watch stuff.
Right.
And it's crazy to think now that for a lot of, again, young people, they will only know Mike Myers because of Shrek. Whereas my generation, he will always be Austin Powers and Wayne's World. But it's just like,
well, yes, there is an ebb and flow.
Yeah.
In what constitutes stardom.
Yeah.
Now, another film that I am curious about that's coming up that was just previewed is the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie, where Tom Hanks plays Colonel Tom Parker.
Under so much makeup. Woof.
I run hot and cold with Baz Luhrmann.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious about that film.
Of course. So when we get to hear the George Stevens Jr. interview. So they've asked us to hold that till closer to when the book comes out. There you go.
Yeah.
So next week is the answer. Next week. He's been having trouble with the podcast that should be up now, but what they were having some technical difficulties with it is Ron Perlman. And he was such a pleasure to speak to. He was really just lovely and so interesting. And yeah, I loved him. 1 second. Not many people like that Great Dane. Yes. Oh, you guys. I always love when you guys argue with each other. That's a personal favorite. It makes me laugh. Chris is saying that my book is called The Master Thief Files, the ultimate guidebook to Lupin III. It's about the Lupin III series, which is 50 years old. Its most famous entry is the castle of Cagliostro?
Yeah.
There you go.
Close enough.
Thank you. Hey, for someone dyslexic, I do pretty well. Hang on. Sorry. I'm just catching up to all your questions, guys. Yeah. All right, kids. Let's not fight too much. I know that this is a whole thing. Yes, famous, fleeting, but great movies are forever. That's the whole thing. I feel Cruise has fun films. Will they last the test of time? Well, here's the thing. How long ago did the first Mission Impossible film come out now?
I don't know.
A really long time.
Yeah.
And I don't mean a really long, like we're not talking, it came out in 1962. No, it's crazy, just how long that film and all of its, sequels, prequels, threequels, 400 quills, people love them. People are obsessed with them.
Yeah.
They watch them.
I think that person is saying that the caliber of Tom Cruise's movies.
I got it. Go ahead. Finish. Thank you for explaining. He's a dad. He has to dad-splain. Go on. It's okay.
No, I'm done now.
No.
No,
it's true. No, look, he's not making, great expectations. But in some cases, it's the fun movies.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff that you love. I feel like action films age faster than any genre. Sometimes. But again, if a movie's good, that's really it, though. If a movie's good, somehow it just doesn't necessarily age the same way. That's a tricky one. Do older Oscar broadcasts from the 1970s still exist on tape somewhere, or are they lost?
Oh, no. They're all accounted for.
Yeah, they have everything.
They're all accounted for. And they have kinescopes of the ones that precede videotape. The very first televised ceremony was the 1953 awards. And I've seen, I think, most or all of that one. That's where they gave the Jean Hersholt Award to Cecil B. DeMille. And Bob Hope was the master of ceremonies. And actually what's funny is they didn't allow speeches. Only the actors.
Of course, even then.
And the best film winner got to make a speech. Everyone else just either bowed or said thank you.
Yeah. Which is not the worst thing.
No.
Not the worst idea.
Not necessarily a poor idea.
No. Thank you. We love you too. This nice person has professed love. I return your love and I thank you. What's your favorite Fred McMurray film?
Well, Double Indemnity, or The Apartment, or
I saw that one coming.
Or The Absent-Minded Professor, or any number of others. He made a lot of good movies.
Huh. So the gift that went with our question today was the Nicholas Brothers, because there's never a bad time for them. And Mary says, I love the Nicholas Brothers. I wonder if they ever injured themselves with their daring stunts.
Apparently not.
Honestly, they were made of rubber. And we've talked a little bit. We knew Fayard. I knew Fayard growing up. And I can tell you now, he was absolutely everything you would want him to be. He could not have been more charming. He could not have been more kind and fun. I'm sad that I knew him when I was young, so I didn't, because he passed away when I was like early teens.
Yeah.
I'm sad. It's one of those, like, I wish I would have understood better who he was so that I could have asked more questions.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also learned that you really can't be mad at yourself for the choices you made as a kid.
I have so many coulda, woulda, shouldas in my life.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of those. And because of my dad, I got to meet a lot of really interesting
His
folks.
son was a guest at Bruce Goldstein's kickoff show at this year's TCM Classic Film Festival. And it was a pleasure to have him there. And I think his daughter or granddaughter, maybe granddaughter.
Jonathan, I know you always ask this. You always ask these same sort of line of questions. Have you ever seen blank movie? Today is have you ever watched Indiana Jones movies?
Saw them all.
I would think that if he hadn't, that would be quite strange. Yes, you've seen them all.
I saw them all as they came out. I have not necessarily revisited them.
Mm-hmm. And you got to ride on the Indiana Jones ride.
Oh gosh! On opening day.
Let me tell you, Leonard Maltin does not do rides. Okay, he can do gentle. He can do very gentle rides.
Very gentle.
But Leonard does not do well flying or
thrill rides.
Soaring
thrill rides are just.
Hey, even Dumbo got you.
Dumbo is not like my outer limit.
Yeah, Dumbo's pushing it.
Of extremity.
As a kid, sometimes, because neither of my parents, we're going to tell you, Nick, I promise, neither of my parents do what Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. The Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. What would happen was someone else would have to go on rides because neither of my parents.
We needed a designated.
They needed someone else there so that I could go on rides because they don't do rides. Anyway, here's the thing: when E.T. tells you that you're going to be riding the brand new Indiana Jones ride,
when your employer, Entertainment Tonight,
says you are going to be. No, my dad flies. No, I mean, like, he doesn't do this kind of a situation.
I don't do thrill rides.
He does planes and things.
At amusement parks.
He functions as a person. He just can't do that. But they said, we want you to ride the new Indiana Jones ride with
George Lucas.
George Lucas.
And
there's going to be a camera in front of
George
you.
George and
I
were in like the second car. And in the first car were our camera and sound guy and director.
You had people in your car as well, because I remember it so well.
And so I had to, I think this may be my greatest performance. I'm not an actor.
There's a whoa that happens at one point that is the most whoa.
Yeah. That was spontaneous.
That's true.
Spontaneous and unavoidable.
My mom and I were there. And both of us I was young, but both of us just going, please don't throw up. Please don't throw up. Please don't throw up on George Lucas. Please don't throw up on George Lucas. You didn't.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I survived the ride. I was able to speak to him as we exited the ride.
Let me see if it's...
with some coherency. Not great coherency, but some coherency.
You made words, and I considering how you felt about that. Oh yes, here it is. It's on the YouTube.
Maltin met George, buckled his seatbelt, and heard the whole story.
Oh, someone recorded this from their TV. Oh my God. Hang on, I'm gonna see. Okay, this person recorded this from their television. You can look it up on YouTube.
On YouTube. Whoa, there it is.
It's a wild ride. And lots of
okay, and mind you, I'm aware that this is for television. So to sit there silently, that was not my job. My job was to exclaim, to give the audience at home some sense of what I was experiencing.
And if you've ever been on the Indiana Jones ride, that is rough, even if you like those kind of rides. It's not that it's not severe. It's like this. It's extremely bumpy. It's one of those where they said, if you are pregnant, get the hell off. Like, it's a very bumpy ride. And you wrote it with George Lucas and a film crew, and you didn't die. And I think that's very impressive. Did you write it again? Hell no, he didn't. You have never written it again. Man.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yep. Oh, that's a memory. That's a
I
solid
earned my money
memory.
that day.
You absolutely did.
I earned my salary.
Absolutely did. But man, I will never forget it. I will never forget it for the life of me. I just want you to picture me and my mom waiting on the platform, just praying to whatever available God that he will come back in one piece and not just throw up on everyone.
Or turn green.
That was
I
an
may have turned
adventure.
green, yeah.
You absolutely turned green, but you held it together because you, sir, are a professional. Oh, Jerry Roberts has a very important question.
Okay.
It says Woody Woodpecker question.
Okay.
That's all you have to do to start things to get us involved. What Woody Woodpecker question? Do you prefer the earlier, crazier Woody or the later, gentler Woody? And
Crazy.
Do you have a favorite short?
Crazy.
You prefer crazy one.
I prefer Crazy Woody. The 40s Woody. I like the 40s Woody. In films like Barber of Seville and Ski for Two. That's my favorite Woody.
I live for punny names. Big fan. Matt says, question for Jesse and Leonard. Do either of you have a favorite costume designer or a film or two you admire particularly for the costumes? One of my favorites is John Molo, who has gotten Academy acclaim for iconic films such as Star Wars and Gandhi, but is not always shortlisted when compiling this objective. I have a lot.
Well, having attended the Tim Burton
Guild.
No. The Tim Burton Museum show that played here
at
LACMA, LA County Museum of Art, and seeing Colleen Atwood's spectacular, it's the only word for it, spectacular renderings from Tim Burton's sketches and Rick Heinrich's sketches. I mean, it's hard not to have those in mind. They come right to mind because they're just something else.
Yeah. There's, when you get to see stuff in person.
Oh, we saw in person the other day. We went back to the Academy.
Yeah.
Saw Midsommar.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the flower dress?
Yeah, the flower dress.
Cool.
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Didn't like the movie, like the flower dress.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's really interesting because so we're friendly with Deborah Natulman Landis, and she was president. She's a big part of the guild in general, and she's the one who's taught us proper language when referring to
Costume
them.
Designers Guild. Yes, she's the one, the person who helps on the day is a wardrobe person.
Mm-hmm.
That's who maybe helps
get
the actor prepared for the shoot that day. They're not a costumer. And there's no such thing actually as a costumer.
No, costume
There's
designer.
a costume designer.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Anyway, she taught me two mantras.
Yeah.
Okay. Costume is character. That's what it's all about. Costume is not fashion necessarily. Costume is character. Costume helps define the character, not only for the viewer, but
for the
actor. And there are many actors who will readily tell you that they haven't really got a fixed idea of how they're going to play a given character until that first fitting, that crucial first fitting. And people like Meryl Streep,
honestly, anyone that you can think of will tell you that it's incredibly important.
Helen Mirren said that she really didn't know how she was going to play Queen Elizabeth, the modern day Queen Elizabeth, in the film The Queen that won her the Oscar, until she stepped into the somewhat dowdy clothing. The undergarments.
I mean, that's the thing. If you think about just the physicality of something, if you put something on and it's tight and it doesn't allow you to move, that's going to affect everything else. If you put on something and it's very flowy, that's going to affect everything else.
The other mantra that Deborah taught me was every film is a period film.
Every film is a period film. Why? because every single film has to reflect whatever time it's filmed in.
Is it contemporary with the periods now?
Yeah, periods now.
Although I'm guilty of this,
Mhm.
to refer to a film that's set in the past as a period film is really nondescriptive. So I have to try to get myself out of that habit.
But it's true if you think about it, because again, if you're casting something that's shot today, you have to dress people in a way that would not be jarring. It should go with what you would expect to see someone wear.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, someone just mentioned Sandy Powell, Ann Roth, Edith Head.
These are
they're great.
The cream.
We
cream
interviewed Sandy Powell. She's fantastic. There are so many good ones. We love Mona May. We love Mona May. She's brilliant and so much fun and loves what she does.
Mona May came to my class with Enchanted.
She's probably most famous, honestly, for Clueless. Mm-hmm. That's one of the biggest things that she's done. But yeah, she came to your class with Enchanted.
With Enchanted, which was so interesting, and she came with James Baker, James Baxter, who supervised the animation, a former Disney animator himself, and they had to work in harmony with one another, because the costumes that you first saw in the opening animation sequence
have to be brought to real life.
Had to be brought to life when the film transformed from animation to live action, and so that poofy ball gown that Amy Adams wears,
and James Marsden sleeves on his Prince ensemble.
Right. I mean, it'd be one thing for James to have designed those, or for anybody to have designed those to work in an animated cartoon, but then they had to work
in real life.
And so if they hadn't conferred closely with one another, there would have been lots of trouble, lots of problems.
Yeah.
Which they didn't have, because they did.
But I mean, there's so many, and the reality, as I say, is when you get to see a lot of stuff up close and you see the detail that goes into things.
Mark Bridges. I mean, there's so many talented folks.
There's so many people. It would be honestly hard to narrow it down. I'll tell you though, one of my favorite things, and this is a well-known fact, it's not me just saying it. Costume designers make incredible things, but for some reason in person always look absolutely ridiculous. And I don't mean like in a fun way. They will tell you they can't dress themselves. They can't dress themselves. And I always laugh, because you go to something like the Costumers Guild Awards, and half of them are like, they look like they fell off a truck. And they'll say to you, I love doing all this stuff. I don't have any patience to dress myself. And like everything, there are exceptions to that, because there are some people who look incredible and impeccable. But yeah, that does always make me laugh. You'll see them, and sometimes they just look so funny, and I love it. We have a few more questions.
And a couple of Blu-rays I want to promote.
Quentin says, greetings from Rome. I recently discovered the apartment we are renting is across the street from where Sergio Leone grew up. Which of his films do you recommend besides The Man with No Name?
Well, I would start with A Fistful of Dollars, the first Man with No Name movie with Clint Eastwood, the one that made Clint Eastwood international movie star. And then I would watch For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I would watch them in that sequence. And then if you enjoy those, keep going.
But that's what he was asking. He said, other than those films.
Other than those films?
Yeah.
Other than all of those
films. Yeah, that's the question.
I thought it was just the first one he was asking.
No, you said other than those films.
Well, some people adore Once Upon a Time in the West. I'm not sure that I do. I admire it, as I admire all of Leone's films. Once Upon a Time in America, which I saw in the studio cut, and then I saw subsequently in the restored director's cut. Again, a film that I respect and admire, but I don't love. I think he's at its purest in those Eastwood movies.
I agree. I agree with you. There's so much. All right, what have you got? What goodies have you got?
Well, when I was a kid, it was a big deal to go to see a film in Cinerama, but I never did. I only got to see them when they played in my local neighborhood theaters, where instead of the 3 projectors with 3 images, I saw them married together on one strip of film. Well, now with technology and with guys like Dave Strohmeyer and his team of gremlins, they've just done a new edition on Blu-ray of The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm, George Powell's production. When I saw it, all I did was look for the joins from the three images together, and they pretty much rendered them invisible. And the behind-the-scenes making of documentaries on this 2-disc set done by
Warner Brothers?
No, it's Warner Home Video.
Yeah.
But
help me help you.
Having a brain blip about my friend
George
Harrison Engel.
Oh, there you
Harrison Engel, who did these documentaries. If you're interested in all of this, and they do the smile box. Instead of letterbox, they do a smile box to give you the impression of a Cinerama type, the curved Cinerama type screen. One of my favorite films by Bertrand Tavernier, and there are many, was Around Midnight, because I love jazz. And this is the film that features the great saxophonist Dexter Gordon and Lonette McKee doing a heart-stopping rendition of Ill Wind. And there's a lot of material on this new Criterion release that you've not seen before.
Weird. Why have you been yelling? I could hear you. Are you just trying to make your father crazy? We're just trying to make your father crazy.
No, don't make us go crazy. Not when you make us so happy.
Continue, we're listening.
You can make us happy.
Continue, we're listening.
Well, if you've never seen, even if you have seen the 1937 version of A Star is Born with Janet Gaynor and Frederick March, you've never seen it looking quite like this from the original Technicolor, 3-strip Technicolor Separation Masters. Breathtaking. Just one look at that and you'll go gaga.
You mean like this kind of gaga?
Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that. Nothing really approaches this. Nothing approaches this kind of gaga. Oh, man.
Hi, Days.
Hi, sweetie.
Why is everything wet, Daisy? We're teething, so everything is wet all of the time. Now, the last question a whole heap of people have been asking all through this is about the Chippendales film. And hi, monkey. Hello. And I will tell you, I think it looks fun, and I'm looking forward to watching it. And Jerry Beck loved it. You saw what I sent you?
Not yet.
I sent you a screenshot of what he wrote about it. He loved it because a certain someone was not anxious to see it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I did read that. Yes.
Yeah.
You mean talking about Rescue Rangers?
Yeah. What did I say?
Chippendales.
Oh, sorry, Chippendale. Sorry, Rescue Rangers. Sorry. So that is what are you doing? A lot of people want to know if you're going to watch it, how you feel about it, etc., etc.
Something else that has happened since we last spoke to you folks is that TCM has posted my tribute.
Yes. How do you feel about the Rescue Rangers movie?
Oh, well, I'm keeping an open mind.
Also, that was a massive burp.
I'm keeping an open mind because it didn't look.
It's okay. We're almost done.
It didn't look like anything that I would enjoy. But with Jerry's recommendation, I'm going to go in and
I
have
told
a
you
good
it
time.
looked like fun.
Yeah.
I think it looks like fun. Yes. Well, so what my dad was saying is that more of the TCM tribute that they did for him is available on YouTube. So if you want to, you can watch more of it that way. Oh, man. All right.
Climbing and jumping at the same time.
Climbing and jumping, if that's what you wish. You want to say bye? All right, everyone. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We so appreciate it. You know where I'll be. I'll be with this thing. Me and this thing can be found together. We'll be back next Sunday. We hope everybody has a good week, and please stay safe. And we'll see you later.
And be kind.
Okay. Bye.